Hello, and welcome to Bitsky.
On tonight's show, Boofsky gets physical with The Simpsons, Emsky gets tormented in Unreal Tournament, and we've got the latest from Lara Croft. Yes, it's the Tomb Raider Moofsky.
Enough of the peasant stuff.
But first, Alexei got to deal with some Cossacks.
One thing I'll say about strategists, hey, they sure are thorough. Cossacks' European War was extremely well-researched by a proper military historian with 9 scholastic and journalistic resources covering 300 years. There's also an encyclopedic chock-up with all the relevant did-you-knows, which is why, from the outset, let me make it perfectly clear, this is not a game. This is a lesson in warmongering. Occasionally, once every 6 months or so, my bearded friend disappears into his study. For the next 8 weeks, he is no longer mild-mannered Mark, inhabitant of a quiet flat in Glasgow, but a powerful general of the highest military proportions, creating and recreating the greatest skirmishes history has ever known. Across the 40 battles and the extensive 3-part tutorial, you'll wallow in the muck and the mire of the 16th to the 18th centuries, forming formations and stepping into the smelly and usually uncomfortable boots of 16 equally weighted European nations. So, no ganging up on the French. 10 of these battles are meticulously recreated down to the minutest last detail. There is no irony here, which leads me nicely to the $64,000 question. If everything is exactly as it was then, why must we suffer it again? It has the potential to blow Age of Empires, its closest comrade in the real-time strategy family, out of history. It shares the interface and good looks of the Microsoft Classic and has more dudes on screen to the buck. But it's infinitely more complicated and 500 million gazillion times slower, resembling its other brother, Settlers. I'm a believer in real-time strategies, but this game is uninspiring, too difficult, and just plain rude. It's unresponsive, doesn't give any feedback, and neglects to tell you anything other than the historical facts. It aims to make your life difficult, and most exasperating of all, I played a Pole, I played a Ukrainian, a Dutchman, and a Brit. Nowhere was there a single bloody Russian. Cossacks my ass. The Russians are loving it. They bought 100,000 copies on the first 2 days it was on the shop shelves in Red Square. Then again, there's no accounting for taste. They do eat turnips after all. But maybe they're practicing for World War III now that George W. is in office. Everybody else, just move along. There's far more enticing titles just around the corner. Oh, Donna Summer!
Get your Wonder Bras at the ready, because Lara Croft is making big breasts, big news this summer. Or is she?
It's the first of the Tomb Raider movies. Nothing is certain.
No, game licenses in the past haven't been overly successful. Think back to Kylie Minogue drop-kicking and a titillating poor old Belgian beef tart Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Oscar nominations, anyone?
More like Golden Turkey Awards.
And then, of course, there's the stunning visuals but piss-poor action of the Mortal Kombat series.
And John Goodman may well have done quite a few belly flops in his time. However, I'm pretty sure you won't find Super Mario Brothers on his CV.
So, what makes Warner Brothers think that just because this bird's got big boobs and an arsenal in her backpack, that Tomb Raider the movies will be any different?
Well, there's certainly plenty of storylines to choose from.
Let's take a look.
Born into wealth, groomed by the elite, and trained for combat.
You might try to kill me.
I'm not gonna kill you.
I said you'd try.
From the silver screen to the tiny screen in the palm of your hand.
That's right, Sega have been making deals with Motorola and personal digital assistants.
The result is all their 8, 16 and 32-bit back catalogue might just be getting a relaunch.
But does that mean that Lady Lara will be tempted back to her old Sega Saturn roots?
And finally, you may remember that we had a little laugh about Sony trademarking the name PlayStation 3. Well, wipe that smile off your face and do this instead, because right now, Camp Sony are working on that very machine.
Already feeling the approaching sting of Bill Gates and his Xbox, Sony are determined to have the last laugh. In fact, they've already teamed up with Intel's arch-rival, AMD.
AMD gave the PC world its most popular alternative to the Intel processor. They are the Pepsi to Intel's Coca-Cola, and they'll be providing the brains for the PlayStation 3.
Sony are promising that the new machine will be 1,000 times more powerful than the PlayStation 2.
But when can we expect this?
4 years?
Oh, wow.
But now, Unreal Tournament.
PlayStation gamers are about to pop a cap in the arse of PC heads when the Rambo of the first-person shooter launches on Sony's #2. Yes, it's the gun-ho, gun-tastic Unreal Tournament. Prepare yourself, PC players. In reality, this is a direct port. There are the same characters with dodgy names like Brock, which makes you feel like it's the cast of Knots Landing getting geared up for Vietnam. And there's the same 4 principal gameplay types. The all-out slaughter fests of the deathmatch, the classic capture the flag, and the more tactical team-based options of assault and domination. All you'll have to do is get to grips with the intuitive station's twizzle sticks and shoulder buttons, and you're frag-tastic. But there's a new control feature that will have PC heads shaking their noggins in shock. Auto-aim, which some might say would ruin the game, as a major part of the fun is showing off your moving sniper-style skills. All the weapons are still in there, from your long-distance pulse blaster to the rocket launcher, and even the more intimate impact hammer with its satisfying thud as you redecorate the walls with your enemies. Sound-wise, it's still brilliant, but unfortunately this version definitely doesn't live up to its PC partner. The first version of this game, simply titled Unreal, appeared back in '98 on PC to enormous acclaim. Porting games is never easy though, particularly when the game is already so well established on the original platform. It would appear that this has been a pretty rushed job, leaving some serious chinks in the armour. If you compare this version to the one on the PC, it doesn't run as fast, doesn't look as good, and has lost the apparently essential online multiplayer edge. You also won't be able to download additional skins, patches, or other fun-time stuff to keep you interested in the long term. Unreal Tournament does exactly what it's meant to do. As a port, it really works, but it will never be as good as the original. It doesn't look as good, and you can't take it online. But hey, it's alright for PlayStation 2. And let's face it, PC heads are never going to buy it anyway. But it would have been nice to have had an improved version, if only to wipe the smug smiles off their little faces. For the rest of us, it's out March 23rd.
And what about my washing?
Must be time for Shop Shelf.
Supercross 2001 is big air, big bikes, and big muddy patches on your knees in this improved version of Supercross 2000. EA have given up trying to make this a sim, thrown reality out the rear window, and given this game a right good arcade makeover. You don't need precision to win, just speed and slide.
And if Gray's knees don't satisfy your bloodlust, pump up the levels of gore and mutilation with Severance Blade of Darkness, Codemaster's first 18 certificate game. Pick yourself a whopping greatsword and hack the limbs off an attacker. The bloodiest bloodfest you'll see outside of a black pudding factory.
Knockout Kings is back to defend its title, featuring some of the best male boxers around, graphically improved and enhanced all over. Never forget that it's all in the footwork. What a hullabaloo.
You saw it here 2 weeks ago, now you can finally get your sticky paws on the most beautiful world that is fantasy star online. It's the kind of world Michael Jackson has always dreamed of, where all the people of the world can play together, man, speak the same language, and help each other and choose their own faces and bodies.
The battle between good and evil continues with this sequel to Grandia. It's an all-new world with all-new characters, but there will still be plenty of magic, mystery, gods, beards, devils, mints, and a good sprinkling of young priestesses in jeopardy. Ooh yeah.
Regular viewers to the show may well be aware of a man called Kens who came very close to winning our Geek Watch competition last year.
And quite rightly too.
You big geek.
Well, Kens
And his mates, Lee and Mez,
recently beat their way to the top of the Bits rant pile with a commendable selection of game-related drivel.
Xmas Jordan!
If you want to air your views on national television, then you can do so and find out how by visiting our website.
log on at www.forlater.com/bits, where you can find out how to make your very own self-indulgent video, which, if it's as blinding as Kens's, will be broadcast on our TV show.
Join us after the break when you can hear Kens' rant on old-school gaming, and we'll also be previewing a brand new game featuring The Simpsons.
So, take us into the break, Ken!
There isn't room enough in this ring for the two of us, loser.
Here's a question for you. Are all these new PC and console games actually any better than games from the classic 8-bit gaming era? Waka 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 waka. I remember the good old days when games cost under a tenner, when you didn't have to upgrade your system to actually run them, when you could play a game and not complete the whole thing on your first go. So the graphics might have been a bit blocky and maybe a bit jerky, but as the old machines were pretty technically limited, a lot more attention had to be paid to the most important part of a game: playability. In the old days, you actually had to be good with your joystick. Now you can beat the crap out of your mates just by squashing the controller buttons at random. Not much skill involved there. I'm not saying all new games are shite, and there's loads of excellent stuff out there. It just seems that less attention is being paid to the playability and more focus is going on the eye candy. Oh well, that's all I wanted to say. My name's Kens. See ya!
Oh yeah, baby!
Ah, Ken's is the man.
Welcome back to Bitsky.
And if you would like to air your views like our very vocal friend Ken's here on this show, then you can by visiting our website. Address is coming up.
But first, here's Boof dishing out a fresh slice of family life with The Simpsons wrestling.
When we think of wrestling, we think loud, we think flabby, we think everything that is lewd, crude, and just plain bad taste. Big titties, big bellies, and pink panties. We think America, but you can forget about The Rock and Hulk Hogan, the crotch chops and the thigh-clenching smackdowns. Because today's champs come in a different shape and colour altogether. They're yellow, they're two-dimensional, and their hair defies gravity. Everybody's favourite all-American family, it's The Simpsons!
I'll teach you to interrupt me while I'm watching a food channel.
With 19 characters to choose from, you take on the identity of your particular favourite to earn the Springfield Championship. Senselessly beat the crap out of your opponent in familiar spots around America's most commonly named town. Now we all know the strength of The Simpsons is to be as politically incorrect as possible. And right here, it's all about bad losers, bad winners, bickering banter and non-stop looting.
Hello, steady customer. We have a special on beatings today.
Though in keeping with the cartoon's bright 2D style, the game mixes 2D characters with 3D locations, resulting in a strange hybrid of 2.5D graphics. There are your usual slaps and shoves to be had in the ring, but as far as hardcore wrestling is concerned, there's nothing too elaborate. But that's not the point, is it? Such comic genius embedded in The Simpsons is thankfully taken to the ring too.
I hope someone breaks something.
Krusty comes equipped with a giant comedy mallet and cream pies. Bart runs circles around his opponent with his skateboard. Supermum March has her trusty frying pan, while Willy has his garden rake. And Barney has his devastating Duff Beer cloud burps.
Come on, let's talk.
Oh, what could be more sweet?
Ow!
Of course, every hero needs a little pick-me-up now and then. Where would Homer Simpson be without his donuts? With such inventive power-ups, one hopes this would be one damn fine hootenanny of a game. But with the heavy reliance on milking that unique Simpsons humour, one also hopes the game doesn't end just there. You can wrestle with the Simpsons this Easter.
Wrestling is just an exciting and theatrical form of entertainment. No one really gets hurt, right?
8, 7, 6.
Oh, stop rushing me!
Some games make you want to turn the volume down when you hear their plinky-plonky in-game music, while other games make you want to turn the picture down, sit back, relax, and enjoy their sumptuous sounds. Here's our top 5 scores from the world of video gaming.
From 5.
Kick, punch, it's all in the mind. If you wanna test me, I'm sure you'll find the things I'll teach ya. Sure to beat ya. Nevertheless, you'll get a lesson from teacher. Now kick,
Kick,
punch,
punch,
jump,
tap.
block.
4.
Blank's fled to the recording studio.
Roger.
Hey, they've got their cannons aimed at you.
Here we go.
At 3.
At 2. And at number 1, knockout! No, not annoying.
Strangely infectious.
Hey!
Ever since Yuri Gagarin scared the pants off the Yanks by not dissolving into a million pieces when he set foot in space, dreams of galactic nuclear showdowns were upon us. Over the years, video games have indulged these fantasies and become more immersive and more sophisticated. But let's cast our minds back to the early days and one of the first video games ever, Space War. It was written on a ticker tape-driven mainframe by a bunch of eggheads at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology in 1962, during the height of the East-West tension. The space race was well and truly on. Marvel at the simplicity. It's a duel between two craft thrusting their way through a realistic, frictionless deep space environment while avoiding the pull of a dastardly black hole. However, lasers travel at the speed of light, so, unlike the game, you can't even see them coming at you. You can't dodge them, you can't watch where they go. In the real world, they're no fun at all. Perhaps the shittiest thing about Space War was this. If you wanted to play the game, you had to know the people who made it. It never found its way into any shop or arcade. An attempt to commercialise it was made in 1971, but flopped. Third-person space combat would not reach the arcade until 1979, with a game that went by the name of Asteroids. Again, you take to space and thrust your way through the galaxy, executing 180-degree rotations and firing bollocks to the physics photon blasts. This game rocked. You so little and pointy, the asteroids so big and rough. All you had to contend with, apart from the tricky space debris, was the occasional flying saucer. These were sent to harass you for keeping all those spare coins in your pocket for far too long. But why would you delay your annihilation in a game like Asteroids when disintegration looked so cool? Asteroids was the distilled perfection of the third-person space shooter. It was Handel, it was Bach, but where was Stravinsky? His generation was yet to be born. They would cry out for noise and colour and destruction on a scale that can only be described as large. It needed a voice, it needed music, and the first step would be sinister. The 80s had arrived, with rah-rah skirts haunting a fashion industry where boys could wear eyeliner. In 83, Sinistar came to pioneer arcade video gaming. Taking to the skies, the game was typical space trekking fare. But this was the first to use stereo sound and the first to use digital voices.
Beware, coward.
Now you know where we nicked our infamous Beware, cowards from. Just keeping it retro for ya. It was also the first to introduce the big badass boss. The Sinistar was so hard to beat, it was a real nickel pumper and never actually took off in the arcades. Now it has the huge fanatical cult following it deserves, but for the full-on 3D colour and sound experience, fast forward to 1999, where the third-person space shooter took a loud leap for mankind. Brace yourselves for a mega boost on the PlayStation. The Cold War has long gone. Your enemy is the machine itself. Rogue craft are on a pre-programmed mission to destroy the Earth. All that can stop them is a giant mech warrior launched into space and piloted by rather vulnerable human beings strapped inside his head. Very imaginative indeed. Unlike its predecessors, it is laughably easy to play. Lock and fire. Gloat. But why are the big mech's legs flailing around in zero gravity so compelling? Zero gravity. So there you have it. The evolutionary process is complete. To find out more about the games, or tell us about stuff we may have missed out, or even play that cranky old Space War thing, then pay a visit to our website. Address is coming up. And this week you could win their Dreamcast Royal Rumble Wrestling Bundle.
Busky has the key, so listen carefully.
Evolution, the process by which complex creatures evolve from crude origins. As you are watching us right this second, we are nothing more than 3 sets of moving pixels, much like the video game characters we like to mock and adore. What we want you to do is draw up a theoretical evolutionary path showing how one of us may have evolved from a computer game star of the last 40 years. Knock us out and you're in with a shout.
So, if you want to win, then hit our website at 4later.com/bits.